To the channel, everybody. All praise, honor, and glory belongs to the highest, to our Heavenly Father, Yahawah, in the name of the beloved Hamashiach Yahawashi, our Savior, Redeemer, and the propitiation for our sins. All right, I'm thankful to be here. I'm grateful for another opportunity to teach this word, to labor in this ministry. And my prayer for you is that you might be saved. So I'm here to do my labor of love on behalf of my Father, on behalf of my Lord Yahawashi, and for the benefit of you, Israel, for us, for our nation. All right. Reconciliation, restoration. That's what we all should be hoping for. And again, not just for ourselves because that's selfish, but for the body. All right. And so that's what the work is about. So that's why I always end with each one, reach one, right? Because it's love. When you love somebody, you reach out to help them. If, you're in the boat and it overturns and, first thing you do, of course, is get yourself to safety. All right. And but you got yourself to safety now. And now you're looking at other people in the water, your brothers, your sisters, your family members. Love would cause you to stick your hand out and to try to pull others up to that place of safety that you have made it to. And that's what this is. All right. And so again, my prayer is that you can receive it. All right, because it's by the predestination of our power whether or not you're gonna receive it or whether or not you're gonna reject it. And so I don't try to, make anybody a believer because I can't do that. Um, I don't do any debating of the word. I just give back what the Spirit gives me. All right. When I pray the prayer, Psalm 23, right? And I ask him and thank him for causing my cup to overflow. You know, that's the cup of blessings and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And so I try to pour into others. My cup is overflowing. I got extras. I got plenty to share. So let me try to help you fill up your cup. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this thing, man, because it's just a couple things we want to continue to do. We want to keep fighting the good fight. And so there are certain things that we got to know that we got to constantly go over in order to be strengthened and prepared in these times that we're in. All right. One main thing that you guys see me cover all the time is understanding the way of righteousness because there's nothing more important. All right. It's all about salvation right now. That's the most important thing. That takes place in precedence over everything, over trying to, convince everybody what the mark of the beast is, over everything else everybody wants to spend their time talking about. I try to talk about the thing that is most expedient for us at this moment, which is salvation. There's no time to play with it. There's no time to get it wrong. You got to get it right because getting it wrong has dire consequences. So, yes, I'm going to continue to beat that horse into smithereens because that's what the Spirit leads me to do, because that's my office. That's what I am led to do because our power says, hey, this is what I want you to do. It's very important to push this doctrine of salvation, to show them the way, the path to salvation. All right, because there's a lot of people who are trying to send them on paths that go elsewhere. All right. We got to get them on the straight and narrow path to head through that straight gate. And it is a difficult gate because the majority of people are going a different way. And peer pressure is a mother something, right? It's real easy to look at the masses, to look at the herd and see what they're all doing and to try to, fall in line with what they're doing. It happens all the time. All right, you see it all the time. Like you can be out driving and you're driving along and you can see a couple cars who, they've pulled off to the road and they're trying to do something that looks like it's abnormal. But because you see two or three cars in front of you doing it without having any idea of what's going on in front of you, you just pull up right behind them to do the exact same thing, assuming that, hey, they're all doing this thing for a reason. There must be something going on. Maybe there's something I don't know or understand. It's probably a good idea for me to just get in line behind them, only for you to find out later that you should have just kept going the regular way because that's the way you should have gone. And what they're doing has nothing to do with, where you're going and what you're supposed to be doing. And then there's other times when doing that, was the right thing to do, right? But my point is that this is a human tendency. to see what other people are doing, especially if it's, you know, a good number of them, and to just follow suit without any understanding of why. And this happens in this awakening. All right. Many people are just following the wrong path. They don't understand that's what they're doing, and they don't understand why they're following that other path. They just know that the majority of people are doing it, so it must be the right thing to do. And that's wrong. All right. All right. But I don't want to, go on with a monologue for a long time. So let's go ahead and get into our opening scriptures. All right. Let's go to Second Corinthians chapter 4. All right, because this lesson is not about that. This lesson is another one of those lessons of encouragement for the elect, because our Father's promises are true, right? So is tribulation. And they happen to go hand in hand because we are given promises that pertain to tribulation. All right. What do we do? What do we expect? How should we set our hearts? Right? All of these things are questions we should have when you're in tribulation, when you're experiencing troubles, when you're seeing great evils taking place all around you. What do I do? Lord, how can I be safe? What is the path I should be on? All legitimate questions. All right. But the answers are in the scriptures. But many people try to search for these answers everywhere else but in the word of the Most High, Yahawah. All right. So Second Corinthians chapter 4, we're going to begin at verse 1. Um, Paul's apostolic ministry. All right. Because first and foremost, again, this awakening is all about the elect first. There is an order of salvation, an order to the harvest of souls, of men, and the elect are first. So I want to speak to the elect first, but I'm not going to speak to the elect only. So everybody bear with me. All right. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not. All right. Because we have received mercy, we don't faint. We don't get tired of well doing. We don't get tired in this walk. We don't get exhausted. We don't quit. We don't give up. All right. We understand that these things that are happening, they gotta happen. And because of the mercy, we don't faint. We don't get fearful. All right. Because we understand that wrath is not for us, verse 2, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty. All right. The hidden things of dishonesty, such as teaching that the law of Moses is still in effect. All right. That's dishonesty. And there are a lot of hidden things, hidden traps, hidden dangers, hidden doctrines within that overall doctrine that are all dangerous. And you have to renounce those things. All right. Not walking in craftiness. Brothers, you can't be teaching things we ought not. If Yahawashi didn't teach it, don't teach it. What did he do? What did he say? All right. Let go of the law of Moses. Forget what Moses said. Listen to Yahawashi. All right. This is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. Right. This is my beloved son. Hear ye him, not hear ye him and Moses. It's the reason why Peter was rebuked, right, for trying to build a tabernacle for the law and the prophets. Because we're not building a house for them. We're not building a tabernacle for Moses or the prophets. We're building one for Yahawashi. It's his building that's under construction. He's the foreman. He's the leader. He's the head. We should be listening to him. It doesn't matter what anyone else said. It's like being in a relationship, ladies, with the man, right? And you want to bring, your former things with your previous man into the relationship with your current man. And he's trying to tell you, no, I don't want you to make me another man sandwich. This is how I like my sandwiches. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Chris, he liked it like this. He said it was delicious. So I don't see why you shouldn't like it like this and see that it's delicious also. It's dumb. You're with a new man. Listen to what that man is telling you. He likes what he wants. All right. For you fellas, you get with a woman. They're all individuals, right? Yes, they have a lot of things in common, but they still are individuals. You can't get with a woman and then try to do all the things for her that your last woman liked and just hope that she accepts it and appreciates it because the other woman wanted it, she liked it, she accepted it. So why shouldn't the current one, right? No, you got to listen to what the current woman is telling you about herself because you're with her. You're trying to build something with her. You're not trying to build on your previous relationship. You're trying to build on the new one. We are in a new relationship, Israel, not the old one, not the old covenant, not under Moses. We are under Yahawashi. What does he have to say? That's what's most important because why? Because what he said is what the Father had to say, right? Absolutely. All right. So not handling the word of God deceitfully, because that's what they do. They take the word and then they handle it deceitfully. They try to mangle it and twist it and make it say what they want it to say because they want to control you the way the Pharisees did. They don't want you to have the liberty that came in Yahawashi. All right. He came to set the captives free. What captives to what? Captive to the law of Moses. It was spiritual captivity that he was talking about. That's the reason why we continue to go into captivity afterward, because it wasn't about that. All right, not handling the word of the Most High deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of the Most High. But if our gospel be hid, if the good news is hidden, it is hidden to them that are lost. That's the reason why they can't really see the truth. That's why they can't accept the law of Moses not being the way of righteousness and salvation. That's why they can't accept that we're not under the law of Moses, because the good news is hidden to them. So they're still under the law of sin and death. All right. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. They can't believe in the truth that comes through Yahawashi because the God of this world, Satan, has blinded their minds. Why? Because they believe not. But they're saying all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem Yahweh. They believe in him. Do they? Do they? If they don't believe in his doctrine, they don't believe in him. Right? Same thing we tell the Christians. If you don't believe his image and you don't believe his doctrine, you don't believe in him. So we have Israelites who believe in his image, but they don't believe in his doctrine, don't like his doctrine. You see, because they have the spirit of the Pharisees. They are just the regenerated, wicked, pharisaical, old covenant loving spirits. They're back. So they're doing what the word says. They're doing what Yahawashi said when he says that they would come back into the earth before his coming, right? And they would be saying, "Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord." That's what they're doing. But they don't really believe in him. You see, they're just singing his praises, right? They honor him with their mouths, but their hearts are far from him. All right. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Father, should shine unto them. He doesn't want the glorious gospel to shine unto them. That's why they're in the dark. It's hidden to them. That's why they can't understand. It doesn't make sense. That's why they fight against it. They continue to resist the Holy Spirit. And they'll use stuff like, well, the Most High, he changed not. That makes no sense in the way they're trying to apply it. All right. He doesn't change himself. And he doesn't change. He's not going to change when he says that Israel are his people. That's what he said. That's what the scripture is saying. That's why it goes on to say, therefore, you children of Israel are not consumed. I change not, therefore you are not consumed. Meaning, I'm not going to change about you guys being my chosen and beloved people. No matter what anybody else says, no matter what's happening, you guys are my people. That's not going to change. That's a shot at the Christians. That's a shot at replacement theology. But Israelites try to use it because they handle the word of God deceitfully. They're walking in craftiness. You see? And so they're trying to use the word differently than what it was intended for. They're trying to make it say something that it's not saying. Because again, if he never changes, if that was real, and if that means what they say it means, then every hope that we have is in vain because he put us in captivity. If he doesn't change, then that means we're supposed to stay in captivity forever, right? But yet we know Israel constantly went into captivity, came out of captivity, in captivity, out of captivity. That's changing. That's making changes, right? Absolutely. Right? I'm going to make you the head and no longer the tail. That's making a change, right? He made us the tail. Then he said he's going to make us the head. That's him making a change, right? So you see what I'm saying? He can do one thing at 1 minute and then turn around and do something else. He told Israel, You're no longer my people. I'm divorcing you. I'm disconnected from you." Then he says the time is going to come when he's going to make a new covenant with the house of Judah and the house of Israel. That he's going to make us one stick again, one family, right? He separated us and then he's going to bring us back together. That's changing, right? He brought back the Israelite Gentiles that he sent away. That's changing, right? You see, so don't listen to those people. They don't know what they're talking about. And stop teaching that if you are one of those teaching it. You don't know what you're talking about. You are in error. Fix the error. Don't continue in it because your elders and the men that you hold up in high esteem teach that false doctrine. All right. It says, "For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahawashi, the Lord." All right. I don't preach Moses. I preach Yahawashi. I don't say nothing about the law of Moses. Everything is all about Yahawashi and the Father over here on this channel. I'm not a disciple of Moses. I'm a disciple of Yahawashi. I'm not a follower of Moses. I'm a follower of Yahawashi. I follow the way of righteousness, not the carnal covenant, the carnal law. For the Most High, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Hamashiach Yahawah, not in the face of Moses. There's a reason for that. But if the way of righteousness came through Moses, came through the law of Moses, there was no reason for him to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Yahawah, because it would have already existed in the face of Moses. He didn't come back to reiterate what Moses said. All right. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels. So, this treasure that we have, Israel, we have it in these earthen vessels, these earthly bodies that are due to expire, to pass away. All right. But we have a great hope that is set before us, that we're striving toward day by day. All right. Walking that path of righteousness, not veering to the right or to the left, but staying on course. All right. With the word being a lamp unto our feet, lighten the way. This is what we have, so that the excellency of the power may be of the Most High and not of us. All right. So we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Look at this. We are in our captivity. We are in the lands of our enemies. All right. They surround us on every side. They have all the power. They have all the pull. They have all the say so. All right. They have all the might. The strength is theirs. They have the power of the sword, power of the gun, right? They have a military, they have law enforcement, they have FBI and CIA, and all of these different um, systems and everything else. It's all theirs, and they use it for our destruction and for their betterment. But to the Most High be the glory, because that's how I want it. I don't want it any other way, because I'm an Israelite. It gotta be this way in order for the things that are to come that we are promised for them to be ours. This all has to be true. So stop trying to fight against it. Stop despairing. All right. We're not in despair. We're in the wisdom of the highest. So we understand that all of these things have to take place, and all of these things work together for our good, for those who love him. All right. We are persecuted, but not forsaken. All right. I know what Christianity says, but we are not forsaken. We are cast down, but not destroyed. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahawashi, so that the life also of Yahawashi might be made manifest in our body. For we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahawashi's sake, that the life also of Yahawashi might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. And it started with us being delivered unto death uh, to the law. All right, we were made dead to the law for Yahawashi's sake. There was a transfer of power. a transfer of authority, a transfer of rulership, a transfer of um, covenant, a transfer of uh, statutes and laws to abide by. The same way, when uh, a business buys out another business and then they bring in their own leadership, right? To come take over. They don't keep doing things the way things were always done unless that company had a winning model, right? And they just were a bigger company that came and ate it up and they're going to keep it going. All right. But like a better example is like in sports. All right. When a new head coach comes in to replace the other head coach, because the other head coach, he couldn't get them to where they needed to go. He could only get them so far, and a change was necessary in order to get them, to the ideal goal of the championship. Well, the idea is for us to get to the championship, aka to the kingdom. And the law of Moses, that coach, him as a coach, and his, everything he instituted, it couldn't get us to the championship. All right. We need a new coach and a new coaching system and a new culture. We need that new coach to bring in his own way. He's going to bring in his own coaches, all right, to teach his playbook, to teach his system, his structure, his order, his way of doing things. He's not coming in to just do things the way they were done under the old guy. Otherwise, there was no need for a coaching change, right? There was no need for Yahawashi to come if all we were going to ever be made to do was remain under the law of Moses. And that's all that's going to be pushed is the law of Moses. Then why did Yahawashi come and what did he die for? Right? So that the life also of Yahawashi might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. So then death worketh in us, but life in you. We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believed, and therefore have I spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak, knowing that knowing that he which raised up the Lord Yahawashi shall raise up us also by Yahawashi, not by Moses. Why didn't it say we're going to be lifted up by the law of Moses? Why didn't it say we're going to be lifted up by Moses? Why isn't Moses our intercessor? Why isn't Moses our king? Why isn't Moses our high priest if we're supposed to be doing what Moses said? Right? Shall raise us up also by Yahawashi and shall present us with you. For all things are for your sakes. All right. All of these things that are happening in the earth are for the sake of the elect. All of it. Every last bit of it. So rejoice in it. This is part of your redemption story, Israel. That the abundant grace might, through the thanksgiving of many, redound to the glory of the Most High. You see, we're supposed to appreciate everything that He's doing for us. All right. We're supposed to appreciate, the abundant grace that He's given us, right? That the abundant grace might, through thanksgiving, right? Through our appreciation of the abundance of grace, might redound to the glory. It's going to equate to the glory of the Most High. That's what it's all for. Everything is working together for His glory and for our benefit, for which cause we faint not. But though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, and that's what it is, it's a light affliction because we're not getting what we deserve. All praise, honor, and glory to the heavenly highest for not, dealing with us according to our iniquity, but He's having mercy on us and He's sparing us as one spares His only son. All right. But for our light affliction, listen, which is but for a moment, it's temporary. It worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. You see, again, this is also a contrast between the law of Moses and the law of righteousness. All right. The law of Moses was temporal, not eternal. The temporal thing comes first. The natural thing comes first. And then the spiritual comes after. All right. And we're supposed to be looking at the things which are not seen, meaning the things of the spirit. Again, it's the contrast between the law of Moses and the law of righteousness. We're not supposed to be looking backwards. at the law of Moses. We're supposed to be looking forward in the law of righteousness. Right? So we have to endure in this ministry that we've been entrusted with for those of us who are ministering. All right. Our light affliction works for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. We walk by faith and not by sight, right? We know that our labor is not in vain. We know it. So we are not constrained to do this. Yes, we are slaves to Yahawashi, but not in the way that we are slaves in this world, right? I count it a blessing to be a slave to Yahawashi, to be his servant. All right. That's what I count it. A blessing. And I'm happy to lift him up so that he can lead all men. He can draw all men to him because I don't want any glory. I want him to have every bit of glory that he's worthy of. And he's worthy of far more than we can ever give him. So I'm going to continue to lift him up. I'm going to continue to preach and to teach righteousness and holiness, the things that I should, because I know it's the right way. And because I love you and I don't want you to die, I'm going to teach you the right way. Those who are teaching you anything contrary to what I'm saying, they don't really love you. They want you to die. They're not entering into the kingdom themselves, and they don't want you to go either. Same as Satan. He's not entering in. He wants to take as many people with him into the lake of fire as possible. And so are his ministering spirits, because he has some too. And they're saying all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom. Right? They're saying that too. Wolves in sheep's clothing. All right. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness. That's our duty. All right. Because we are our brother's keepers. And so if a brother be overtaken in a fault, those of us who are spiritual, we have to try to help restore him in the spirit of meekness. Considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted, meaning being cautious and careful, because these wicked spirits can overcome you. You have to be protected and shielded, with the whole armor of the Most High in order for those spirits that you're trying to save him from to not overtake you. All right. It's like trying to save someone from drowning and then you fall in with them. Don't do that. Right? Keep your footing. Don't fall in with them who you are trying to save from drowning. Bear ye one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Mashiach. It says nothing again, no reference to the law of Moses. All right, bear you one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Mashiach, because that's the same thing as loving our brethren as we love ourselves, right? For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work. And when he shall have rejoiced in himself alone, and not in another. And then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. All right. Because, nobody else can get you in. You got to walk this walk for yourself. And when it says, for if a man thinketh himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. It's not saying because you believe yourself to be of the elect. There's a problem. But there is a problem when you believe yourself to be of the elect and you are not. That's why he says, if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing. It doesn't just say that there's a problem thinking that you are something. No, the problem is thinking you are something when you are nothing. That's the problem. Because there are men out here believing themselves to be of the elect and they are not. But they believe it, but they are not. And the fruits of the spirit that they are lacking testify against them. Not having the doctrine of Yahawashi on their lips at all times testifies against them. Trying to preach Moses testifies against them. Anyone telling you that you got to keep any bit of the law of Moses for salvation, they are those who think themselves to be something when they are nothing, and they are deceiving themselves. Don't let them deceive you too. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived. All right? Be not deceived. Pause. All right. And then it says, the Most High is not mocked. So Don't let yourself be deceived by these people out here. And then it gives a warning that the Most High is not mocked. It's impossible, no matter what they do and what they say. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. The Most High is watching and paying attention, and there is a law of sowing and reaping that's at work. All right. If you are sowing righteousness, you shall reap righteousness. If you sow wickedness, you shall reap wickedness. If you are sowing the law of Moses, you shall reap the rewards of the law of Moses. What's the rewards of the law of Moses? Death. The wages of sin is death. And the law of Moses is the law of sin and death. All right. Again, it's why Yahawashi had to come to save us from that which was killing us. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap. All right. Again, that's the law of Moses, the carnal law. All right. But he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life everlasting. But again, a lot of people are reading, but they're not understanding what they're reading because it's not given to them. This gospel is hidden from them because they are lost and set to perish. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. All right. Don't be weary in well doing. Don't get tired of doing the right thing. All right. Yes, it's not exciting. Yes, it's kind of boring. All right. You can't do the things that you used to. You can't do what the rest of the world is doing. You are commanded to do something different. Your walk is different. You are reserved for something different. You have to sacrifice the little bit that this world offers now for the lot that the Most High is going to give you for an eternity. Sacrifice is required. All right. So don't give up. All right. You may be persecuted, tired, and misunderstood, but stay faithful and keep sowing in righteousness. All right. Not to the flesh, to the spirit. All right. And stand firm in faith amidst tribulation. All right. Let's go to Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit, meaning the Holy Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit, right? Meaning it agrees with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Because in our spirits, we feel, we know, we believe that we are the children of the Most High. And the Holy Spirit agrees with us. All right. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with the Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him. What do we have to do? We have to suffer with him. We're not going to experience the exact same thing that he experienced. You know, suffering is going to come in different measures, different degrees. We're not going to all experience the same things. All right. Just like we are not all given the same gifts of the Spirit, we are not all given the same punishments either. We're not all given the same restrictions. So don't let anybody try to push their personal restrictions on you, to try to push their personal sufferings on you. Whatever they're suffering, they're going to tell you, hey, everybody has to be suffering this in order for you to be of the elect or one of the children of the Most High. If you're not experiencing exactly what I'm experiencing, then that means you're not of the Lord, because they'll do that, right? Because some people, they can't see outside of themselves. All they know is what they're experiencing. All right. And it's a natural tendency, especially for the wicked, to want other people to suffer as they do. Right. Right. Like, you ever had anybody who made it out of the hood, quote unquote, right? And then, and then instead of trying to give you a hand up when they're capable, you're not asking for a handout, just a hand up, an opportunity. And they're able and they don't, and they try to tell you, well, I had to get it out the mud. I had to do it the hard way. Yeah. But why do I have to when you did it? We're friends. We're brothers. We're cousins. We're boys, right? You say you got love for me, but you want me to have to experience great difficulties and hardships because you did? Damn, that ain't love. That ain't love. That's why Yahawashi, he loves us and he doesn't expect us to have to suffer what he did. We just know that we're going to have to suffer some things. We're going to have to experience some hardships, but not exactly what he suffered. But we are going to have to experience some hardships. All right. Because we have to, because it's part of our punishments. Not because he doesn't love us, but it's because of our punishments. It's his love for us that says we don't got to experience eternal death and that we don't have to experience exactly what he suffered. That is love. He saved us from that, right? And greater love hath no man than he who died for his friends. He did that. All right. So we owe him much honor and respect, more than we could ever repay. Like I'm gonna continue to say all the time. You know, we're gonna have an eternity, Yahawah willing, right? Again, I believe it. All right. So when I say Yahawah willing, it's just to, out of respect, right? Not in any sort of unbelief or any uh, uh, confusion or apprehension about whether I will make it or whether I won't. All right, but I'm talking for everybody who I'm talking to. Yahweh willing that you will make it as well. All right. It says that we may be glorified also together. Let me get back on track. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So what we're experiencing now is nothing. It's nothing. This is very little. It's minuscule. All right. It doesn't even register, you know, on the scale of adversity because it pales in comparison into the weight of the glory which shall be revealed in us. All right. When you put those two on a scale, again, it's not equal. It's not even. The weight, the glory that shall be revealed in us far outweighs our sufferings of this present time. So endure it. All right. So, we will suffer in this present time, but it can't be compared to the glory to be revealed in us for what's to come, for what the Most High has in store for us. Right. Let's go to John 15, verse 18. Yes, verse 18. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you, says our King. All right. He already prepared us to get our minds ready, to get our hearts fixed on on what will be, what we should expect. We should expect to be hated by the world, right? And that's both worlds, right? The world of Israel, we're going to be the elect are going to be hated by our own people who are not, right, the spiritual Israelites. The fleshly Israelites are going to hate the spiritual Israelites. And then the world at large, they are also going to hate us, his people. It's just what comes along with the territory. All right. Don't be confused. Don't be puzzled. Don't think, something is happening that shouldn't be happening, for somebody who is chosen and pleasing to our power. This is part of it. If ye were of the world would love his own. All right. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you because we're special. We've been declared special. And so the world hates us because who's the God of this world? Satan. Who would you hate if you were Satan? Those who are chosen by Yahawashi, right? And the Father, right? Absolutely. That's why we are the most hated group on the earth. Even though there's another group of people trying to fake their way, into trying to trick everybody into believing they are us, right? They are trying to create persecution, right? So that they can look like they're us because the scriptures say that you're supposed to be persecuted and greatly hated by the whole world if you're Israel, if you're the Israelites, right? And so they got to try to make it look like they're fitting prophecy. That prophecy is pointing to them. But make no mistake, we know the truth. All right. So does Satan. All right. So does his seed. So get out of the mindset of having to try and convince the world of who we are. That's not, we were never told to try to convince all of these other nations of who we are. We're just supposed to wake up Israel. We're supposed to preach to our own people. That's why all of the debates and the back and forth with the non-Israelites, that's not even scriptural, but all of the same people who constantly preach in the Bible and we got to do what the Bible says and we got to do what the scriptures say, but yet they're constantly doing things that we're not told to do in the scriptures. You see, they got that spirit of the Pharisees. They say and do not, right? He says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. Which means that those spirits who believed in him, they're going to believe in us. When he taught and they believed him, those same righteous spirits are going to believe when we teach. They're going to be able to understand when we teach. And those who didn't, they won't. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. All right. They have no relationship with our Father. And when you don't know a person, you don't know what they would do. You don't know what they would say. You don't know how they feel about certain things. So you have to guess. You have to superimpose your own mind onto them because you don't know. All right. People outside of my house don't know anything about me on the level in which my family members do, those who are of my household. So they would have to guess about all things concerning me. They wouldn't, be able to just speak matter of factly from a point of of knowing. All right. Or they would have to ask those who know. And this is what you're doing every time you come to these videos. You're seeking the truth from someone who knows. You're going to someone who knows Yahawashi to learn of Yahawashi. You're going to someone who knows the Father, who speaks to the Father, who the Father speaks to and through to learn of him. Because you know that he has his mouthpieces. You know that he has men that he has lifted up in every generation, who he places his spirit in, who he uses as his prophets, who he uses as his mouthpieces to speak to the world, to speak to his people. You know this is what our Father does. So that's why you come here, right? Not for any other reason. And you can tell it's evident in my spirit and in what I teach that I'm not here for self. I have no wicked agenda, no wicked motives, right? I don't have a bunch of hatred or jealousy or envy or covetousness or anger in me for anybody. I just come in the spirit of the Most High to preach the truth of the Most High. That's it. That's all. That's what we got to do. Otherwise, we are making ourselves of that number of the wicked, and we're going to get ourselves in trouble. That's what we got to avoid in this time. And that's what, again, why I'm harping on this is because I want you to be saved, fam. I want you to make it. So I'm trying to discourage you from doing the things that you shouldn't do and encourage you to do the things that you should and encourage you regarding these times that we're in on what to expect and what we should do, how to operate, right? The Most High makes a distinction, right, between the righteous and the wicked. What does that mean? That means so should we, right? That means we should have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. Stop trying to be friends with the wicked of this earth. Stop it. All right. Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Then they that feared the Lord, Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, spake often one to another, and Yahawah hearkened and heard it. That's what he's doing now. He's hearkening. We're speaking one to another. This is me speaking to y'all. Then each one reach one, right? Each one reach one. So then y'all talks to someone else. So we're speaking often one to another. And he heard it. He's listening. He's hearkening and hearing it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahawah and that thought upon his name. and they shall be mine. Not everybody. And they shall be mine, saith Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi. All right. In that day, when I make up my jewels, jewels are precious, valuables to you, and I will spare them. Listen, I'm preparing to be spared, not to be greatly persecuted, persecuted, but not greatly persecuted, not forsaken and not destroyed, but to be spared. When others are going through great tribulations and struggles, I expect to be spared. That's my hope, and that's where my faith lies. While others are trying to get you to prepare your mind to have to endure hardship, I'm preparing my mind to be spared from hardship. That's what I trust in. That's what I believe in. We all got to suffer some things, but in my mind, again, certain things are just real small and they're nothing. I don't even consider them hardships. And I fully expect to be spared from great, terrible things, from many things that other people have to suffer. All right. It says, I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. That's his word. I know that he keeps his word, that he cannot lie, will not lie. He says, I will spare them. I expect to be spared. Then shall ye return, because the elect are going to leave here. They're going to go to the marriage. They're going to be transformed and be made like unto Yahawashi. And then they're going to come back with them as the host of heaven. They shall return and they're going to have the power. We will have the spiritual power because we're going to be like Yahawashi in that day. We're going to be gods. We're going to have the ability to discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. Elect, listen to what we have to look forward to, man. We should be overjoyed by what is set before us. All right. The Most High sees who is truly his, and he makes a clear distinction and preserves the righteous from the wrath to come. I will spare them. All right. So wrath is not for us. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. All right. Not through the whole earth, through the midst of Jerusalem. All right. And this always has to be said that Jerusalem is a reference to the people, not just a reference to the place. So it's one of those things where you got to read the context to understand if in this instance, is it talking about the people as a collective or is it talking about the land? All right. Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And he doesn't mean about literal crying the way we know of crying today. It just means we're lifting up our voices. All right. We're lifting up our voices and we're frustrated with what's going on and we're speaking against it. All right. And so that mark is being set upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry. All right. And when it says men, it literally means men, not mankind. All right. It literally means men. All right. Males. All right. Because this is talking about the 144,000, the elect who are all men. I be hearing sisters out here, who be teaching and they, sometimes they'll say things that make sense and things that are right on point. And then they'll say other things that's just like, did you hear yourself? They'll include themselves in being the kings and priests. And it's like, when have you ever read the scriptures and known the Most High to declare women kings or priests? He's not about to start doing something different on that front. All right. Stop trying to be included in the blessing of the men. You have blessings also as the women, but it's okay for him to have a separate blessing for his men. Now, you don't mind it being separate when you talk about the men going to war, right? You don't want to be the soldiers that have to go to war. All right. So stop trying to be the kings and the priests. All right. Stop trying to be the rulers. You always want to rule. See, that's the problem. That's the of this world. That's what our women in this world are cursed with, the desire to rule. And that desire to rule has destroyed them and has destroyed our people. Women wanting to rule. And look at it. Our people are the only people ruled over by their women. That's why we're on the bottom. We are the lowliest of all people. We have the worst conditions of all people because of that abomination. And that's one of the abominations that we men are sighing and crying for, right? That's one thing we're sighing. That's why he's persecuting us. He's allowing us to be persecuted by our own women so that we sigh and cry against it. He's allowing us to be oppressed and ruled over by our women so that we can be frustrated with the results, frustrated with the oppression, right? To make us sigh and cry against it. Everything he wants us to be against and to sigh and cry against, he causes it to be a thorn in our sides. He makes us hate it because he hates it. We are extensions of him. We hate what he hates. That's how it is. All right. So, this mark is spiritual protection. Right. So while judgment is poured out, the Most High knows who mourns for righteousness, and he's going to protect them. So again, we fear not. We expect spiritual protection. We expect protection from on high, not of man. Right? We know there has to be a separation from the wicked and from the walking dead. Right? Don't you know this? Are you not aware that you got to separate from the wicked? All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And see, there's a lot of Israelites, again, who are the law of Moses lovers. They believe that they are the righteous and that people like me who don't uphold and tout the law of Moses are the unrighteous. And so that it is righteousness for them to hate us and to not consider us brethren because we are the unrighteous. See, that's the darkness they're in. They don't understand. That's the irony and of the darkness. The unrighteous believe that they are the righteous. And right? Woe to them who call good evil and evil good. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're calling good evil and evil good. And what communion hath light with darkness? Remember in Genesis chapter 1, right? The light was separated from the darkness. See, that was about people. That was about the spirits. The spirits of the righteous being separated from the spirits of the wicked. That's what that was. You see the reference here, right? And so, and what concord hath Hamashiach with Balial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power. As the Most High hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. One second. See this right here? I'm going to have to use this in another lesson that I'm also working on. Well, it's already done, but it just occurred to me this is a perfect scripture to add to it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that just to hold on to that for later. All right. Let's see. He says, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them. Listen to what he's saying to his people who he loves. All right. Come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty. That's what we have to look forward to. Praise Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. But don't skip past the part too fast where it says, come out from among them and be thee separate. Be ye separate. What agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? Right? Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. We are living in a great time of wickedness and evil when there is a separation being made among the people. I'm tired of seeing, in the comment section of certain videos on certain topics with women with names like daughter of Yah, daughter of the Most High, princess of Yah, or something like that. Woman, a sister who recognizes that she's an Israelite woman, but she'll be all over all the relationship videos, all over the Israelite man bashing videos, taking part in the foolery. It's like, so all you know is that you're an Israelite. You don't know anything else, huh? That's it. Don't be out there taking part. Stop getting all over the comment boards, but with the conversations about Meg Thee Stallion and trying to defend her. She's a freaking wicked demon. Stop defending a wicked demon just because she's a black woman. She's freaking evil. She's wicked. She's demonic. She's an enemy of the Most High, and she's your enemy too. Stop trying to defend her. Stop defending this Halle Bailey chick and her demonic activity. She's wicked. She's evil. She is a damn demon doing what the demons love to do, destroy Israelite men. That's their joy. That's their pleasure. That's why this whole sisterhood of hating Israelite men, that demonic uh, group, that demonic cult, have no parts with it, ladies. Don't fellowship with them. Be ye separate. All right. And in the same way, fellas, have nothing to do with trying to defend any of these wicked, demonic men either. All right. All of these celebrities and everything else, they're wicked, they're demonic. They all have to sell their souls. Right. Don't be defending them either. Don't be trying to stand for them. Right. Nothing. Right. No Diddy defending, no wicked dude defense. None of that. Take part in none of it. They all need to fall, the wicked men and women of the other nations and of our own. That's what we should want. That should be the desire. Don't go down with them. Remember what we talked about before about not trying to save someone, to the detriment of yourself. You trying to save someone from drowning and then they pull you in because they're kicking and they're, panicking. And so they bring you in with them. No, 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 no. You can also be pulled in to wickedness when you are trying to come to the defense of the wicked. Don't do it. Don't go out like that. All right. We are called to holiness. All right. Not to be mingled with the spiritually dead men walking. All right. So fellowship with darkness will disqualify you from being received by the Father. So don't do it. All right. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light. Wherefore he saith, awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. All right. Awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. All right. So the wicked of our people are the walking dead. All right. The law of Moses lovers are the walking dead. And we have to awaken. All right. Shine the light and walk in the spirit. That's what I'm doing. I've awakened. Now I'm shining the light. All right. This is what I'm doing. All right. Each one reach one. Everybody let's join in doing the same thing. Okay. We know that the reward is for the elect. When you read Revelation chapter 3 and you start at verse 7, right? It's the message to Philadelphia, the church of Philadelphia. It's the reason why the city of Philadelphia is called the city of brotherly love. Did you ever think of where did that come from? Why is it called that? How did it get that name? No matter what anybody else says, the real origin is in the Bible. All right. The church of Philadelphia, all right, is the elect. All right. The elect are the body of Hamashiach. Right? Remember when he says, and by this they shall know that you are mine when you have love one toward another. He constantly taught, brotherly love. We're supposed to love each other, right? What's the second great commandment? You know what it is, right? See, we are the church of brotherly love. All right. The elect, 144,000. So this section is to us. All right. Chapter Revelation 3 and 7 through 13 is for the elect, the bride of Hamashiach. All right. So let's come down to verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. You see, it doesn't say I'm going to save you out of the hour of temptation. He says, I'm going to keep you from it, meaning I'm going to prevent you from experiencing it. So that means the 144,000 should expect to be saved, taken out of the earth before the hour of temptation. That's how we know we have not come into the hour of temptation yet. This hasn't happened yet, and it's going to be a huge spectacle. People are going to see it. All right. He says, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So my expectation is that I'm going to be kept from the hour of temptation. That's my expectation. That's my hope. That is my belief. All right. Which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see, to try them that dwell upon the earth. But the 144,000 are going to be taken out of the earth. So they're not going to be on the earth to go through the hour of temptation, because the hour of temptation is going to come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So in order to not be among the people who dwell upon the earth who are going to experience the hour of temptation, they got to be taken out. That's my expectation. Verse 11, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast. Don't let nobody convince you that this awakening is not what it should be, that it's a cult, and that, it's not this and it's not that, because, it doesn't match up with Christianity or anything of that nature. All right. Don't listen to these people who are coming in and going out. All right. They were meant to be destroyed. Right. Because remember, the Most High says that it's worse for anybody who has come in and gone out than it is for those who never came in. So those people who came in and gone out, he did that in order to make their judgment especially harsh. All right. It's going to be especially harsh for them because they were exposed to the truth and they rejected it. All right. He says, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. All right. Don't let anybody spoil you with talk of the law of Moses and cause you to lose your crown. It says, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. So a promise is made to those of the elect who endure, all right? Protection, victory, and an everlasting place in Yahawashi's kingdom, all right? To be fellow heirs, to rule with him. All right, let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 2. 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 42. And it reads, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than the rest. That's Yahawashi. And upon every one of their heads, he set crowns and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So again, he's setting crowns upon the heads of these men. Remember, what is he called? The King of Kings, meaning he is the highest king among other kings. He's the Lord of the lords. So he is the Lord of the lords. So the men who are going to be the kings, he's their king. The men who are going to be the lords of the earth, he's their Lord. Right? And he's more he's more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. Right? So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, these be they that have put off the mortal clothing. This is what we have to do, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahawah Bahashem, Yahawashi. Now are they crowned and receive palms. They're receiving their reward. You see, I want to be among that number spoken of here, receiving that great, special, and precious reward. All right. Then said I unto the angel, what young person is it that crowneth them? See, he looks like a young man. He's handsome and radiant, shining. He don't look like some old man. He's taller than the rest, more exalted than the rest, more handsome, right? As he should be. We should expect that, right? More handsome, more glorious, more powerful, all right? More respected, more beloved, all of these things. What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. That's why all I do is confess him, not Moses. All I do is lift him up, not Moses. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. This is what I do. This is, again, this is my motive. I stand stiffly for his name, for his reputation, for his doctrine. That's who's going to be crowned. I'm confessing him in the world, and I'm standing stiffly for his name, for his honor, no matter who's going to hate it. And they're hating it. I see, every time I drop certain videos, I see the dislikes on, on the videos. I know where it's coming from. It's coming from the wicked, right? They're being condemned and convicted in the spirit. And so they hate it. They don't want to see videos like that pop up no more. So they hit that dislike button. So YouTube don't recommend my channel or any videos like the sort to them anymore. So they don't have to be exposed to the Holy Spirit of truth and feel convicted by it. All right. The same way when Yahawashi came around and the wicked spirits that was in that man, how they freaked out, they got uncomfortable, they panicked when he came near. That's what happens to the wicked spirits in men when the righteous spirits come around. And make no mistake, my spirit is in every lesson that I teach. All right. Every lesson, every video that you watch, the spirit of the individual creating it is in that video. Their energy is bundled up in that video and it transfers. That's why you have to be careful what you consume, what kind of entertainment you consume, what you listen to, what you watch, what you take in. It matters. Then the angel said unto me, go thy way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy God thou hast seen. All right, so this beautiful vision of the elect receiving crowns from Yahawashi is our blessed hope. And we will not be ashamed when he returns. I fully anticipate everything written to come to pass. Everything written to come to pass. I'm not one of these people who cherry pick the scriptures. I want it all to come to pass, all of it. All right, so now let's go to Luke 21, final verse. We're out of here, all right? Because I want everybody to understand that we got to hold on, all right? Because our redemption draws near. Hold on. Keep fighting a good fight. Remain strong. Pray for strength when you lack it. Pray for wisdom when you need it. All right, Luke 21 and 28. Approach him and petition him for what you need. And when these things begin to come to pass, all of the things that he just spoke of prior, right? Because he was warning us and letting us know, what season we were in and how to recognize, when we're in the final season. When these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And those things which he was speaking of, they're happening. They either have happened already, they are happening, or they are to come. We are in that season. So look up. Lift up your heads, Israel. Your redemption draweth nigh. So take heart, elect, and all of you who love the elect. Our King is coming. So this isn't the time to faint or to look back. The reward is in sight. Stay holy, remain faithful, and be separate. All praise, honor, and glory belongs to our heavenly highest, to our Father Yahawah, in the name of the beloved, our King Hamashiach Yahawashi. Please, Lord, don't take your spirit from us. Continue to endow us with your spirit, with your presence. Allow us to benefit from your spirit, from your love, from your grace, from your mercy, and do all unto us that you have promised to us. Watch over us for good and not evil, but watch over our enemies for evil and not good. May we live to see the fall of our enemies, the coming of our King, the restoration of our nation, and righteousness being established. Yahweh willing, I'll see you guys in the wilderness and in our land. That's what I hope for. That's what I look for. All right. That's why each lesson I'm trying to reach one of you, some of you, if possible. All right. And hopefully I'll bear fruit. I'll have some fruit in some of you guys. All right. And again, not to my glory, but to Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai. I'll see you guys on the next one, Yahweh willing. Each one reach one, family. Shalom.